This is Pikkon's Revenge, the final boss of Primal Fear, deemed by many to be one of the, if not the hardest boss in all of ARK. Thanks to his insane 5 billion health as well as plenty of attacks and abilities capable of turning your dinos into dust, it was pretty clear where this title came from. Today however I decided to install literally every single Primal Fear extension I could find on the Steam Workshop and set out on a long and hard journey throughout all of progression to build an army strong enough and ultimately take down this behemoth alongside his 4 colossi. But before getting into all the action, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. This adventure started like no other, with me waking up on a beach filled with excitement and ready to take on Primal Fear. Now I have played this mob before, but I've never actually gotten past the Spirit and Chaos Guardians, which is like the halfway point of progression. So there was definitely gonna be a lot of things to beat and to actually see after eliminating those of course. For now I focused on getting the essentials done. That's a zombie dodo. Yeah, that's a zombie dodo. If I go close to that guy, I will explode. Which is exactly where I'm gonna go. Fuck you, man. What the job? Okay, things are exploding. Yeah, we're playing Primal Fear. Hello, sir. No, what the fuck? Good. After getting obliterated by a toxic dodo, which is the first tier of dinos, out of many, I respawned and decided to lie low as well as avoid going towards explosions. Afterwards I made a bow and some arrows because it was time to make my presence known by killing some local dinos. The first of those being this innocent Lystro. After harvesting some hides, I wanted to see just how tough the toxic dodos actually were. And to nobody's surprise, they were still just stupid weak ass dodos. Upon defeating pretty much any Primal Fear dino, you can be awarded with a bunch of loot in the form of either blueprints, arrows, tranks, team helpers, bullets and many more. Besides that, almost every tier of creatures has some blood and hide that you need for the next tier of kibble, as well as to craft their saddles. I'll explain more later. For now, I tried helping an alpha parasaur by saving him from a dilo. But as I was doing that, he remembered that he can defend himself and he just ended me right then and there. Then I died one more time while going to grab my stuff back, because Crystal Island spawn locations are very vague and spawn you in a huge general area. This, coupled with Primal Fear's insane hatred towards early game progression, led to a bunch of deaths and jumpscares. That scared me. What? No, oh my god. Dude! Rip your hawk. After dying a few times, I spawned right beside an Alpha Carcinos. So I just ran away to save distance and watched in disbelief as he literally one-shotted this Brachiosaurus. Nah, I'm just kidding. All I saw was free hide and free meat. A lot of it actually. After collecting a few more starter resources, I began slowly but surely making my way towards where I died. And on the dawn of day 2, I finally arrived, but ended up dying again. Well, it was clear that messing with Elder Fjordhawks wasn't going to be very smart, which is exactly why I shifted my approach into actually progressing. Thanks to Crystal Islands being literally filled to the brim with crystals, I wonder why, I managed to easily collect 2 crystals, after which I killed this stupid seagull for its hide. And by combining the two, I got myself a spyglass. I'm dead, I'm dying. What the After respawning, I kept randomly wandering around trying to find my stuff, until I remembered about the mod that I installed, Creature Finder Deluxe. It allows me to search for any dino currently spawned on the map, which is a must-have for any modded playthrough, in my opinion anyways. By using it, I was able to track down a local dark parrot and then easily took my stuff back. Unfortunately, since I died while crafting the spyglass, it didn't craft. So I lost the resources. And while getting the crystal again, I died to an Alpha Dodo. And then again while going back. After retrieving all my lost goodies, I finished making the stupid spyglass, which allowed me to see the Alpha Dodo's health. Which was laughable, so I grabbed my bow and swiftly took my revenge for earlier. Upon defeating him, I got awarded with a small experience potion that does exactly what you would expect. With this in mind, I killed another 2 local dodos that proved to be no match for my primitive bow. Ooh, baby, we got some big loot. But with things going very well, I decided that it was about time to progress towards the first tier of kibble, Toxic. 6-7. Oh my god. Okay, you got a sword. Who am I cutting first? You're getting cut, bro. Bam. For it, I need the following resources. Carrots were easy enough, and for dinosaur eggs I resorted to taming a few female dodos. In order to tang them faster, I crafted some primal spears. These work just like a normal spear but inflict torpor instead of, well, damage. After the dodo tamed, I picked it up and began looking for some metal. Can't find some metal. Let's speak of the devil. After locating this little metal patch, I immediately got to building a little base, complete with a refining forge to smelt a bunch of metal for later, and then on the morning of day 3, I built a crop plot to grow some carrots. While waiting for those to grow, I quickly built a smithy, placed it down, made a metal pickaxe, and then harvested pretty much all the metal near my base. Oh yeah, and the crystal. Can't forget the crystal.
And a quarter. Don't forget the quarter. Shut up,
Then, while looking for the engrams, a Dilophoty could sneakily kill my dodo. No, that doesn't sound nice. No, leave my guy alone. Bam. No, 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 no. You leave my guy alone, bro. You make eggs, or you're next. Afterwards, I went to tame a few more dodos, and while doing so, I ran into a toxic dodo that I quickly executed. For my troubles, I got awarded with some things, amongst which I found the ramshackle Trank Pike blueprint. Unfortunately, it did require obsidian, so that was gonna have to wait. Later in the day, I ran across two dodos, male and female. So I just tamed them both, as from what I know, if you have a mate-boosted pair, they lay eggs faster. But I'm not too sure. Then, a few seconds later, I ran into an elder moss chops. Elder moss chops! We are taming that guy, dude. This dino is super duper ultra mega strong, especially for early game, so I absolutely wanted to tame one. The way I was going to do that now is by crafting a lot of primal spears as well as for gates and gateways. While harvesting stone, a primal tech parasaur ran across my screen. No. No, 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 I know that, yeah, primal tech, no. You go and do your thing, man. If you're unfamiliar with primal tech creatures, just know that they are highly aggressive and equally as strong. So logically, it wasn't something that I was willing to deal with, especially not right now, which is why I ran away and started mining another rock. GG, that scared me, dude. Okay. Ark, no. X. Horror game, yes. She's very close, so I'm afraid I will get raided. And everything will die and explode. And blow up. Egg. After going back to my loot, the parasaur decided to run off, which was perfect and allowed me to finish gathering resources for the trap. So, bola in hand, I arrived at the moss chops, bowled it and got to trapping. Also, if you're confused as to why you can bowl this guy, I'm confused too, but it works, so don't worry about it. With the moss chops trapped, all that was left for me to do was use the trank arrows that I had and poke him until he fell asleep. After knocking out his blood, I quickly went home to grab a tame helper, which basically just makes dinos food train super quickly. Then I gave it to him alongside some measures, and once he tamed, I was super duper eager to take him out for a spin. Except that the local necrotic dodo, whatever the fuck that is, decided to ruin all my plans and kill both me and the moss chops. Go oh my god, dude, what the fuck is this, man? Oh yeah, and then he also decided to fan a snappy out of existence. Whoa, that scared me, dude. Man, what the fuck is this dinosaur? Along the way, I ran into a yellow drop that contains some crazy metal structures. So I made sure to demolish those for some big profit. Then I spent an unhealthy amount of time trying to go back to where I died, only to then quickly die to a fjordhawk. Twice. Thrice. Force. I have no idea how to say that, but that's probably not a real word. Then I tried bowling it, but that of course didn't work, but it works on the moss chops. Sure game, sure, okay, whatever you say, man. After getting my ass handed to me by the fjordhawk for pretty much the entire day, the tech parasaur from earlier came around and put an end to its reign. The parasaur killed it. Yeah, buddy. The local necrotic dodo did kill me twice, but I did not care one bit, as my staff was finally freed from the fjordhawk. Back at base, I deposited everything and invested some of that new metal into making an apprentice metal hatchet. Why? So I could farm stones faster to recraft the trap from earlier and get another moss chops. Besides the trap, I made some primal trank spears, obviously, as well as a tame helper. Once I arrived at my target, I couldn't really begin taming him as he was surrounded by a bunch of creatures, including a tech parasaur and a buffoon dodo, which summons mini dodos that explode. Yeah. Try explaining this to somebody that hasn't played Primal Fear. On the bright side, they did kill each other, but the moss chops end up being way too low HP to actually tame, so because of that I crafted a raft and set out to yet another elder moss chops. On the way I found a purple drop that contains some obsidian, so I made sure to grab it, and on the dawn of day 6 I arrived at my new target. You already know the deal: bowler, trap, trank, easy peasy. Nice, dude. One shot. Okay, dude. Ooh. Peak. Okay. Tame helper. Bam, 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 beam. And we're done. Beam, bam, beam, bam. Tamed. And we are showdown. Okay. After taming the beast, I put it in a cryopod and swiftly returned home, excited to try him out. However, I couldn't continue my excitement until I arrived home, so I popped him and continued on foot. The damage he could deal was absolutely fantastic, especially for my point in progression, as he could effortlessly kill alphas, toxics, and even fables. Fables are a later tier of dinos that provide a 4x multiplier to anything we harvest. Now alternatively, they could be killed for a bunch of good loot. After killing a fable Dichi, I also got a few XP potions that I used on myself in order to reach max level. And as I continue going to my base, I kept killing all the fables that I ran into. After returning back to my dodos, I picked up literally everything as it was about time to move my base. My initial plan was to go to a secluded small island nearby. Okay, sure, no, I'm good. I don't need that island anymore, matter of fact. If you're confused, let me explain. That yellow orb means that an origin spawned, a super strong late game boss that I will have to defeat in order to progress to the stronger bosses. Messing with him at this point though would more than certainly result in me losing pretty much everything that I worked for. So I changed my course to the neighboring island. Once arrived, I began rebuilding my empire and also invested in a soul terminal. This thing is super duper useful as any dinos placed inside can produce X passively. In the meantime, I organized my blueprints, used the obsidian I got earlier to craft a trank pike, killed some things around the island, and lastly rebuilt my crop farm. Then I managed to craft 2 toxic kibble. Kibble which I immediately used in combination with the trank pack that I got earlier to tame toxic dodos and begin producing, obviously, toxic eggs for alpha kibble. While looking for another dodo, I ran into a super low level crystal wyvern. Yeah, I instantly put that guy to sleep to collect his primal crystals. But the reason as to why I wanted the primal crystals was that I could tame a crystal wyvern of my own. While waiting for the guy to get hungry, I tamed the other toxic dodo, then I fed the wyvern, and for the first time in 7 days, I could take to the skies and fly wherever I would please. Back at the crib, I threw the dodos in the soul terminal, and while looking through the engrams, I met the bosses that I will have to take down later on in this video. There were some new faces around, such as the fake Archerodontosaurus, Artifacto the Ascended, Skynet, amongst many others. Unfortunately, I couldn't look for too much as a Primal Tech Parasaur spawned nearby and came to attack my base. Fortunately, he wouldn't break anything, not too sure why, and he was also laser focused on the Schmitty, which basically allowed me to kill him with the moss chops, as otherwise, yeah, I'd rather not think what would have happened otherwise. On the dawn of day 8, I noticed that I had almost everything required for alpha kibble, the only thing lacking being some lemon. So while those were growing, I took my new wyvern and set out to the center of the map to see what dinos I'll run into later. Bro, what is materializing? What the hell is this? What? Chaos Rex, Alpha Indominus Rex? Bro, what the hell is going on, man? Celestial Rex, of course. If he attacks, this wyvern is just a memory. What the fuck keeps exploding? Pfft. Yeah. Yo, Baron, you should play some mods. Okay, I'll play some mods. The mods in question. While out exploring, I also found a huge patch of obsidian that I wasted no time in collecting. After which I hopped on the back of my wyvern and swiftly returned home, ready to make an unreal trank spear. Before making the spear, I needed a few more things for a crafting skill potion, because yeah, I'm not spending this many resources without crafting skill. In the meantime, I made a fabricator, a generator, blah blah blah, the usuals. But the reason as to why I made a fabricator was so that I could use my newly acquired obsidian to make primal refining forges, which just work faster. Then I made a crafting skill potion, used it, crafted an ascendant pike as well as a journeyman metal pickaxe. Then, as day 9 came around, I found out about the existence of alpha mantises. So, since my toxic dodos were hard at work, I was able to make some kibble and quickly went over to trank one such. Dinosaur. Since I didn't have any reliable trank weapon, I wanted to use the pike that I previously crafted. The top rate could inflict was decent, but not one-shot worthy. So to combat that, I gave the mantis my moss chops and began a very risky taming strategy. I'm so good at this game, bro. Genuinely such a good player, dude. After the mantis tamed, I went home to make a saddle for him, slapped it on him, and gifted him my pickaxe. To say that farming was gonna be super easy going forward would be a severe understatement, as the amount of resources he could farm easily leave all the other farming dinos in the dust. Despite this, however, this is not the main reason as to why I wanted to tame a mantis. You see, remember that pike that I made earlier? Aha, I can give the pike to him and trank things that way. Now, by myself, I could only deal about 1.3k torpor. My mantis, however... So, 1.3k to... Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're putting the whole block to sleep, man. With this new information in mind, I got to tranking a necrotic dodo and beating him with a pike until he literally died. Sweet, sweet revenge. Then, as night fell, I got rebuilding the crop farm and turning it into a greenhouse. As morning rose, I used my moss chops to farm some berries, which I then used to make some more alpha kibble, which you already know what I used for. While returning home with my new egg layer, I noticed that my island was under attack by Tech Trike. Also, I don't know what I was on here, but I just saw his 70k HP as 17k, so I thought I could easily kill him with my moss chops, but I'll just let you see how that went.
Boom, bam, bop, boom, pow.
So hello. You only had 17k, you only had 17k. After taking my stuff back, I let him away and used my mantis to easily trank out another moss chops. While waiting for him to tame, I found a local ice bear that I wanted to put to sleep with my mantis, which ended up obviously being a bad idea. After my mantis unfroze, I hopped back on, hit the parrot one more time, and then he hit me with the bye, have a great time. So I brushed it off and continued waiting for the moss chops. The new moss chops proved to be even stronger than my old one, so I used him to clear the island of baddies. After that, I wanted to make some elemental kibble, but I was lacking more alpha eggs, so I went over and quickly tamed another dodo, but as I was returning home, I was greeted by this abomination. Meet Captain Black Boulder, a mid-game boss that can rarely spawn on beaches, which is exactly where my base is. Also, unsurprisingly, there was no beating this guy with any of the dinos that I had, so I unfortunately had to find another base location. Luckily, on the dawn of day 11, that's exactly what I found. It was high up, it was safe, and would hopefully protect me from the Primal Fear bush tree. So I took all my stuff, threw that in the moss chops, and set out on a short journey to my new base location. Once arrived, I hopped on my wyvern, made it up, and began construction of my new base of operations. I also made sure to put the local resources to good use by harvesting them with my mantis. I did run into one issue, which was this crystal, as I wasn't able to place a foundation under it for pretty much the entire video. With the rest of my foundations, I rebuilt the greenhouse and then did a bit more organizing around my base, which lasted for pretty much the entire day. But after being done with that, day 12 was here, and with it I got yet another dodo tamed, as the alphas were really lazy and refused to make me eggs. So to pass the time, I resorted to looking for the spawn creatures to see what was awaiting for me later down the line. Spirit dodo ever. Okay, dead. Scrutinized Tyrannosaur, 1 million health, level 60. Goddamn. Well, after that I wanted to make a chemistry bench, for which I was lacking a lot of resources, but thankfully everything was pretty easy to get, especially thanks to the existence of Carcinoses. As I was going towards them, I ran into an alpha Carcinos pretty much at the halfway point, so I took out my moss chops and went over to kill him. Bam. Bam. Shit. Neutral. Kill him, please. Despite the moss chops being literally twice the size of a boulder, it didn't behave like one, so he didn't want to attack the crab. After dying to a Fjordhawk, I noticed that the Carcinos killed my wyvern. So that was fun. Then I noticed that the crab grabbed the moss chops and just kept hitting him, refusing to let go. All in all, just a very fun experience to be a part of. Oh yeah, and then I died to Fjordhawk. After returning, again, I noticed that something took 8000 damage, which just means that the moss chops finally decided to bite the Carcinos and kill him. So I took my stuff, took my revenge, and for my troubles I got 200 polymer. On the dawn of day 13, I tracked yet another wyvern for primal crystals that I soon put to use. Also, after that whole experience, I still didn't have sufficient resources for the chemistry bench, so I basically just wasted time. Thankfully, I could at least craft some elemental kibble. With it acquired, it was time to look for the dinos to see what to tame. The closest of such dinos was a caustic griffin level 95, so I went over to him and by using my mantis managed to easily get him to high torpor. But since he's a flying creature, he just ran away. So I made a long neck and by using the tranks that I already had, managed to easily put him to sleep. After he tamed, I took him out for a ride. His damage consisted of dropping some sort of acid bomb that dealt continuous damage and the slash attack that applied acid, which slows down the target and, again, deals damage over time. Watch this. Watch this. Bing! I'm so bad at aiming. Wait. Take two. Bing. God, that's so nice. With my newly friend tamed, I felt pretty much invincible, which is exactly the reason as to why I tried killing a random green sabertooth. What? It was Faye! It was Faye! It was Faye! It was Faye! No! Oh, whatever, we'll just do another one. It's gonna be hard to do another one though. Yeah, I don't think I'm grabbing my stuff back with this guy here, dude. Yeah, I don't think I'm grabbing my stuff back with this guy here, man. What is Faye, I hear you ask? Well, I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that it's a new unofficial tier of dinos from one of the mods that I installed. It's apparently on par with Celestials and Demonics, so no surprise I died there. As I was returning back to base, I ran out of stamina mid-flight, and as I was approaching the ground, you will not believe who was there waiting for me.
Enemy spotted. What's wrong with you, bro? What the heck? You tripping, bro? You tripping!
After taking my revenge, the dawn of day 14 was here, during which I tamed another wyvern to go up to my base. Then I obviously got one more kibble crafted and went over to tame another caustic griffin. This time, the griffin was way higher level, so I was super excited to get him tranked. I did omit one thing though, and that was to grab some stimberries with me. Because of this, the griffin managed to knock me out, and then swiftly kill me. On the way back, I ran into this guy. And there's a spirit something here and I'm going to explode. Please don't... Why is bro the size of a building? Faye, GG. I saw him, man. After arriving back, the mantis was hard at work and nearly knocked out the griffin, so I hopped on my wyvern and used my long neck to finish the job. Unfortunately, the initial blast damage of 5000 doesn't scale with level, which is a shame. However, the damage over time does increase with level, which is fantastic. Wait. Recording Baron, shut the fuck up. Day 15 started with me waking up and finding this insane long neck in this guy. This was not planned, but hell yeah, I will take it, dude. Back at base, I made some more kibble and then quickly used that to tame some more elementals. After taming them, I safely stored them in the soul terminal and then spent a large portion of the day killing things and having some fun with the griffin. How? After having my fun, day 16 rolled around, in which I was finally able to make my first bit of apex kibble. To prepare for future kibbles, I was going to need more jerky, so I invested in a primal preserving bean as it allegedly could make jerky super duper quickly. Okay, the difference is astronomical. Alright, now where was I? Ah, right, apex. With the apex kibble crafted, I could move on to taming actual strong dinos. The lineup was absolutely insane, consisting of 4 dragons, baryonyxes, sarcos, basilisks, fairies, rexes, carcinoses, wolves and so many more. But amongst all of them, one dino caught my attention. Apex Phoenix. Ooh, I know this is super strong. I wasn't too sure about taming the Apex Phoenix just yet, so I settled for level 140 Apex Rex. After going to him, however, not only did he need 2 kibble, but he was also surrounded by a bunch of deadly creatures. Monga is demonic kibble. We are not taming this Rex. Yeah, I'm good. Besides the Rex, I also found an Apex Fire Wyvern that also needed 2 kibble, and an Apex Ferizino that also needed 2 kibble. So since nothing wanted to work, I tried going to a new dino called the Dragwolf. That ended up being stuck inside of a wall. Leaving Apex aside for now, I finally got to crafting the chemistry bench from earlier. With it crafted, I wanted to go and get some sap, but just as I was leaving my base, I ran into a broodmother. Seeing its relatively small health pool, I wanted to kill it, which is exactly what I did. Defeating any boss works with precious element, boss essence, which is needed to craft boss kibble, to, you guessed it, tame your own boss. However, that was not my goal right now, so I set it aside and went over to get some sap with my mantis. While collecting sap, I ran into a Primal Raptor. Now Primals are the first tier of late game bosses pretty much, Origins being tier 2, so it was clear that these guys were not to be messed around with. Thankfully he did spare me, which allowed me to run to my Griffin and then go home ASAP. But the reason as to why I needed sap was so that I could craft the strength sniper for later. But since it was super expensive, I didn't make it just yet and continued farming things around my base. After which I went around the neighborhood to tame some apex dilos for eggs, and once that was done, gave the chemistry bench work to do. Well, turns out I need some chitin, so I went over to get some chitin. On the way, the little forest titan spawned. Yeah, exactly, so I just obliterated him and continued on my way. Also farming water creatures with a flying creature is not very smart, which is exactly why I couldn't farm too much chitin, but the amount that I got should surely suffice me for a decent while. My next goal was to get Industrial Grinder up and running. Oil was super easy to get, I just exploded the Basilosaur. And for the other resources I had to pretty much just wait. In the meantime, I went ahead and tamed the Noviraptor, as by placing one inside Soul Terminal, all dinos would lay eggs faster, which is gonna be super important in the long run. As I was feeding this Noviraptor though, a little alpha broodmother came over to say hi. And while I was trying to kill it, the Araneos just killed my Oviraptor. Yeah, fun, so then yeah, that's one nice way to lose 10 eggs. Filled with anger, I made sure to get my revenge on the giant spider, and once it died, I went over to tame another Oviraptor, that died again, to some bugs this time. Third time's the charm, or so they say, as this time I managed to get him knocked and also tamed. Thank God. Immediately after putting the Oviraptor to work, I managed to get another apex egg that I quickly turned into Fabled Kibble. The absolute first Fabled dino that I wanted to tame, no questions asked, was a Mantis, as it could undoubtedly deal way more damage than my Alpha one, and by combining that with its 4 times harvest ability, it was clearly going to be a super good investment. And to nobody's surprise, it ended up actually being such an investment. With my new Mantis, the first resource I wanted to get was obsidian. While farming, I also got attacked by 2 Reapers. 2 Reapers that I instantly annihilated with the acid ability of my Griffin. And then after they died, I resumed my farming shenanigans. Oh my god, that's so good, dude. Okay, let's see. We're rich, dude. On the morning of day 20, I arrived home and literally 5 seconds later made the Industrial Grinder. The reason as to why I wanted the grinder was so that I could turn all the random items I collect from beating random creatures into various resources. After that, I noticed I got 2 more apex eggs, but before making the kibble, I went into the Griffin Trench. There, I found a level 145 Grifficorn that needed just 1 kibble. Yup. Knowing this, I immediately returned to craft a kibble and then tested out the Fabled Mantis ability to deal torpor. Okay, bro. Yeah, safe to say that ranking shouldn't be a problem anymore. After taming the Grifficorn, I hopped on its back and god damn, he is fast. In terms of abilities, he had the Rainbow Explosion thing that inflicts inflamed and deals a lot of damage. That's it. He was quick, he had the Fable Gathering multiplier and had good damage. Just a really good dino overall. Dude, he's so quick, holy shit, I love this, what the hell, man? I'm literally drifting in the air, are you kidding me, dude? He has so much speed that he can't turn up in enough time and you literally just drift, that's so sick. $200k, oh boy, we're so set. Oh, my Griffin boy. Hello, Artifacto. How much HP do I have? 1.6 mil. I will just kill this guy. I will just kill this guy. While wandering around with my guy, I ran into Artifacto, a mini-boss that towards a few artifacts when killed. Well, what better way to test out this guy's strength than to actually put this guy to rest. With that out of the way, I resumed wandering the map and dive killing everything that I ran into, which went pretty well until early day 21. You see, this day started off with me killing a necrotic wyvern that, despite dying, managed to remove all my stamina, and as I was waiting for it to recharge, I got visited by Celestial Argentavis. Now, I could have just ran away, continue my day, but instead I wanted to take it out. Do note how it says powered up here. It's super important and basically makes demonics and celestials way stronger, but I didn't pay attention to that. No shot, dude. Well, we're back to the Caustic Griffin, I guess. One more shot, one more hit, and it's dead. No way. I killed it. Well, this is what I sacrificed my life twice for. 2 XP potions. But we did it, it died. Bitch. It immediately disappeared. But hey, we got some pretty cool armor. Nice. After the unfortunate experience, I deposited all my stuff and finally decided to tame that Apex Phoenix. Sadly, it kept moving around, so I tried hitting it to grab its attention, or that was my plan at least. Well, that was stupid. With the 2 kibble that I had, I just tamed some more Dialos for eggs. I'm a MO run, that's what I'm doing. And I literally have tranks, but I'm probably keeping them for ARK free at this point, I guess. Because ARK 2 is never coming out. Day 22. It was finally time for me to equip myself with some drip. Since I want the best for myself, I opted for Apex Armor. Primitive Apex Armor because the blueprints are omega expensive. Afterwards, I took my mantis and went to the edge of the redwood to farm a bunch of sap to craft that sniper. Never mind, because I actually need some more cementing paste. So in the meantime, I made another piece of able kibble and went back to the Griffin range to get another Grifficore, because that speed... I need that speed, man. With the Griffin acquired, I spent pretty much the rest of the day farming chitin. After farming for a decent while, I returned home and turned a bunch of chitin into cementing paste. With it, I made the ultimate forge, that being the Primal Industrial Forge that can smelt things... well... oh... okay, this is nice, this is good, okay. Next, I made sure to craft a Trank Sniper, which ended up getting a pretty good crafting boost. 345 from... ooh, that's so good, oh, bomboclat, nice, okay. And then I made a few tranks and went over to tame some Fables, because I want to move on and progress to Celestials and Demonics ASAP. Next day. Alpha Dominus raised of 180. Oh boy, I don't want to go there, and I will go there in just a moment. Give me a second. Well, in order to tame an Dominus Rex, all you gotta do is get it low, which was actually super duper easy thanks to my Griffin's abilities. Then it's gonna lay an egg, that you grab and then you hatch. In half an hour. So we're gonna wait. What's next after Fable? We need Omega, right? Yeah. So I should just go tame Omegas, because I do need... yeah, I need Omega Egg for Celestial. I also need Primal Blood, oh my god, okay. Yeah, so in order to actually tame Celestials and Demonics, I was gonna need Primal Blood. But since I didn't have a way to deal enough damage just yet, I let them be and instead focused on taming Omegas for their eggs. Okay, wait. So we're at 12 meters stop. 1, 2, okay, dude. Also, I did some math and the Grifficorn can reach upwards of 313 kilometers an hour, or about 195 miles per hour in freedom units. Yeah. Alright, well, leaving that aside, I got the Rex tamed, and the unique thing about Omegas that I actually want to mention is that they are similar to Pokemon, by which I mean that they have IVs, which are basically random special attributes that can scale. For example, having more damage reduction, more damage, and more speed, which is pretty neat if you ask me. With the Omegas deposited, I wanted to see what I was going up against, so I grabbed my Grifficorn and started looking for the least HP Primal that I could find, which ended up being a Megalodon. But as I was trying to attack it, I noticed that it was immune to status effects, so I couldn't burn it, which means I had to manually deal all the damage. Yeah, I'm good man, thanks. On the dawn of day 25, I set out to kill a bunch of fables for goodies, and also just think of my next step, as killing primals with my current dinos was not an option. Okay, what do we get? Let's see here. Bunch of tame. Oh, we got so many things. Okay. Okay, we got a lot of these, which is good. XP potions. Oh yeah. Okay, definitely. Blueprint. Oh my god. Okay, I won't need the default flag. Nor will I need any of these. After sorting through the loot and junk, I give my Griffithcorn a saddle for some protection as well as an appropriate name. And afterwards I welcome the Alpha Indominus Rex into the world. Now I just had to wait for him to grow. His stats were very promising though, don't get me wrong, even more so after breeding him. Alright, but back to business. I need Primal Blood. While looking for the dinos that I could tame, the skeletonized Tyrannosaur caught my attention, so I went over to see what his deal was, only to witness him literally get exploded by some Phoenix duo. I think they literally just killed him. So I went back, I wanted to tame my Tyrannus this time to hopefully boost the damage of my future dinos. On the way to set to Tyrannus, the game blessed me with yet another Phoenix. This time I wasn't going to kill it, but rather tame it. After knocking it out, I got the required keyboard, the saddle, yada yada, Phoenix. This bad boy is super strong. He has a spin attack that hits for a lot and hits a lot of times as well. As well as a fire breath attack that does pretty much the same thing, so definitely a super good dino. But the question still remains, can it actually kill a goddamn primal? Oh yeah, that's super good damage. Okay, we're just gonna sit here, spam C a few times and get this guy killed. GG. After defeating my first primal, I made sure to harvesting with a fabled creature to get more blood. I only needed 5 for the kibble, so the 47 that I got would more than definitely suffice. Also, defeating primals was with a primal soul, required for boss crafting, element, loot, primal health potions, which are super duper useful, and a dino costume that is super duper useless. However, with the primal blood acquired, there was nothing stopping me from making some demonic kibble, so I immediately got to crafting some of that. The demonic lineup was pretty nice, consisting of Mesopithecoses, Parasaurs, Hyaenodons, horses, sheeps, and Thorny Dragons, which is the dino that I ended up going with. The excess primal blood also got turned into super mega strong strengths. Just like Captain America once said, we're in the endgame now. Wait, I think it was Tony. Thanking the demonic Thorny Dragon was a walk in the park, as I could just hover above him with my griffin and shoot him until he fell asleep. And unfortunately, despite me owning this creature, I couldn't really ride it, because for the saddle... but I need demonic, I need to kill the demonic. Thankfully the Phoenix can do an awesome job at also obliterating demonics, so that wasn't that big of a problem. After harvesting it with a griffin, I got only 658 hide, which is 12 less than what I need. So I headed over to get another one. After returning, I got my revenge, harvested the stupid dog, got my hide and made the saddle. The last thing I did was give my guy about 5 million health and the rest went full into melee. Okay, let's see damage.
That's a lot of damage!
Also real quick, if you thought that was good damage, remember that they can power up, which not only increases their damage and damage reduction, it also gives me rider protection, which will be super useful going forward. Hello sir, I'm coming to kill you. Don't fret. Don't fret, I am not here to harm you. That was so quick. But yeah, safe to say that this demonic Thorny Dragon will make killing primals a breeze starting now. After returning back to my base, I noticed that the Alpha Indominus Rex finally finished growing, so I took him out for a spin. When it comes to damage, he wasn't all too bad. Okay, actually he was super bad for my current stage, but considering that this guy can be obtained pretty much at the start of the game, he was super duper good, just not for me. So leaving him aside, stashed in the soul terminal forever, I resume my shenanigans of killing primals. Begin nuclear bombardment and he's out. Oh boy, yeah. I would like a celestial griffin actually. Let me see if there's one spawned. Oh yeah, what? The reason as to why I wanted the celestial griffin, even though it was going to be weaker than my thorny dragon by a lot, was because despite the thorny dragon having a lot of damage, it couldn't fly. Except I needed a few more fabled eggs, so I spent a good chunk of the day taming a bunch of fables to save me the hassle later. Alright, so then I made the kibble, took it, went to my guy, and began shooting him with the tranks to get him knocked. Why did I sing, dude? After the Griffin tamed, I had a wonderful opportunity to test out his attacks. On the surface he had nothing too crazy, just regular slash attack and a celestial breath attack. But that was until I pressed C, at which point my guy launched literal comets that exploded on impact, deal damage and inflict cocoon, which pretty much disables flight. So this guy was super strong. Seeing that primals became toys for my current stage, I wanted to move on to killing origins. My Griffin dealt decent damage into this origin Kairuku, however I wasn't very pleased with it. So I brought out the big guns and god damn bro, this thorny dragon still solos. Defeating origins awards you with a bunch of tech rams, a heck of a lot of element, and 2 random pieces of indestructible origin flag set. Oh yeah, most important of all, their tribute, which is required to summon in future bosses, and 1 single origin blood, which is needed for bosses, again, but it can also be turned into origin trank arrows to instantly knock out any creature, regardless of torpor. Also there are 8 origins, so 8 different tributes, and for Pikkon's revenge, I'm gonna need to kill 160 of them. After obliterating another origin, I was very happy with how things were going, which is why I wanted to tame a fake creature. But upon looking through the lineup, nothing really stood out. I mean, Tapejara, Sabertooth, Ravager, I mean, bro, I am not taming these creatures. The only promising one was the Woolly Rhino, but I mean, yeah, I just left that alone in the dust and went to tame some low-level female thorny dragons for breeding. Also, this is worth mentioning, but every time that I ran into an origin, primal, demonic, celestial or whatever, I managed to kill it as I needed origin tributes, primal blood, everything. Next up, I also realized that breeding thorny dragons wasn't going to work, as the option wasn't there. Only enable wandering, which was a shame, but they could get mate boosted, which was good enough for me. Still, I had some extra kibble and resources and time, so I looked through the tame catalog. Demonics were kinda boring, but Celestials had Ferox, which was nice, but best of all, there was a literal 190 Celestial Fire Wyvern. Also, if you're wondering as to why I'm not using an Origin Trank Arrow on him, that's because yeah, I have no clue. And I literally have Tranks, but I'm probably keeping them for Arc 3 at this point, I guess. Because Arc 2 is never coming out. After the Wyvern tame, I tested him out on local dinos, and well, he was kinda underwhelming. Doesn't seem stronger than the Griffin, which is a shame, don't get me wrong. I would soon realize, however, that he was in fact way stronger than the Griffin. Yeah, that's kinda good. Oh, I can spam it. 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 The reason as to why spamming the comet attack was so nice was, well, first of all, I wouldn't cocoon myself, and second of all, the damage would continuously stack the more I spammed, which led to dinos dying super duper quickly. After noticing his strength, I gave him a very befitting name and spent the rest of the morning killing all primals and origins that I ran into. As the day came to an end, I wanted to make some more narcotics, but I was lacking rare flowers. Fair enough, I'll just aim a fabled Ferzy now. I guess I'll just use my trike from Timu then. After making some narcotics, I used all my blood to make origin trank arrows as they were super easy to acquire now. Afterwards, it was time to prepare to tackle one of the first tier 3 bosses, the Celestial Indominus, the Demonic Reaper, or the Fake Archer Odontosaurus. Since the first two were required for progression, I wanted to mess with the Fake Archer first as I've never ever beaten it and it would maybe be more interesting. To beat it though, I needed to finish off a few more origins. Yeah, Cocoon is super strong. Cocoon is actually super duper strong. Because you just keep it at the ground and then she just fucking disappears. The last origin I needed was an Origin Wyvern, which is coincidentally the rarest of the bunch. Thankfully the mod maker did think this through, so he made them spawnable, requiring a bunch of blood as well as one artifact which was literally there just for your annoyance. But whatever, as I made a spawner, spawned him in, obliterated it and got the last tribute. Besides that, I also got awarded with an Origin costume. Usually I wouldn't use it because who the hell is taming and using a raptor, but the Wyvern was something that I was actually using. Boss summoners, tier 3, what can we spawn? I need to kill a Spino, goddammit. Give me a second. Alright, so, with the tributes acquired, I was ready to craft the boss summon, so I made that and called him in. Again, I had no idea what to expect as I've never killed this boss, but he could have been too hard, so I just started blasting. Oh yeah, he's easy. Oh yeah, that was work for no reason, man. He's super easy. Beating any tier 3 boss rewards you with its soul, which is, as always, needed for the next tier of bosses, as well as their summon, a dedicated saddle and more loot. In order to tame the beast, I summoned him in and shot him with an Origin Trank arrow. After which I just waited. Then he fell asleep, I gave him the kibble and welcomed him into my team. So, is he any good? He's super fast, which is good, he has a mediocre bite attack, he can shoot some sort of 3 roots attack thingy, which is what killed my first Caustic Griffin, but lasts too little and as such just doesn't deal that much damage. Also dismounting him is super painful, so overall I will not be using this guy. Alright, now I just gotta do everything that I did again. After killing a bunch of things, I want to give the Karcher one final chance to redeem itself by killing an Origin, but unsurprisingly it did hilariously bad. He did kill it, but it took like the entire day to do so. Last thing I did was kill one more Origin Wyvern for his tribute, and after that I made a Celestial Indominus spawner. Just like last time, I called him in and shot him until he deaded. The Indominus Reaper is different compared to the Karcher because they can also drop random pieces of Celestial and Demonic equipment respectively. This time I didn't get lucky and only got a stupid sword that spawns an Allosaurus minion and I mean yeah, it could deal decent damage, but where and when the fuck am I gonna get close to something to not die and be able to use this? Yeah, exactly. Day 35 started with me getting revenge on Captain Black Boulder from earlier. Afterwards, I tamed the Indominus in exactly the same way as earlier. Compared to the Karcher, this guy was stronger, even though he was slower. His strong attack did this, which does seem strong until you realize that it hits a bunch of random things in all directions that helps you with absolutely nothing when fighting Origins, Primals, and everything else. I guess that's not what I know added to the bunch. Now I just gotta do everything again for the Reaper Empress. Yeah, I don't have the patience for that again. So I crafted the required spawners and did something quite stupid. Anyways, Demonic Reaper time. Boss looks scary, but my attack was scarier. After beating the Reaper, I got lucky and got the Demonic Helmet that I immediately equipped, and the unique effect it provided was unlimited oxygen, which was pretty awesome. Day 36 started with me taming the Reaper, and as always 4 times the charm because this boss was actually somewhat usable. Okay, the X is strong. The X attack is super duper strong. That was even faster than the Thorny Dragon, I believe. With all tier 3 bosses down, I was ready to move on to tier 4, the first massive difficulty spike. The tier 4 bosses were the Spirit Guardian and the Chaos Guardian respectively. These two, upon defeat, allow the player to tame Spirit Dinos and Chaos Dinos, which are the last tameable tier of Dinos and also the strongest tier of Dinos available to the player. Spirit was stronger than Chaos, so that's what I was going for first. Concluding that lengthy farming session, I had everything I needed for the Spirit Guardian and more. I'm afraid, bro. But since this is where my Primal Fear knowledge ends, I wanted to cheese him. Now hold your horses because literally everyone cheeses this boss, whether that be by using a trap or by trapping him somewhere. So I'm not going to kill him normally. My plan was to trap him at the mouth of this cave, while I was on the inside shooting him with my dino until he died. Here we go. Just in case, I put down some baits and went outside to call in the Spirit Guardian. It did take multiple times to get him in the trap and I also had to kill his minions, but once he was in position, I deployed my demonic Ferny Dragon and wasted no time. Oh yeah, we're doing damage, that's good, that's good, we're dealing good damage, good damage. And any second now, 7-minute boss fight by the way. Any second now. And GG. Beating the Guardians awards nothing noteworthy, except some element and obviously the Orb Blueprint. For the Spirit Orb I needed a bunch of things, including Celestial Eggs that I had 0. There was also Spirit and Chaos Boss Kibble, which did sound super interesting, so I'll definitely have to tame one later. But before worrying about anything, I made a replicator for later, as well as upgraded my prehistoric generator to the Shiny Tech 1. Day 39 started with the usual taming. My adventure was unfortunately cut short by a skeletonized Tyrannosaur, as it had some sort of special beam attack that grounded my Griffin. So I craploaded it and went over to finish taming the Celestial Rex. After he tamed, I unfortunately died. I still know what was in my head at the time, but sure. I returned to the Griffin that I also craploaded, and again, for some reason I went to grab my stuff, even though my guy was literally on my stuff. So I just died. Like, hello? I have no clue what I was doing here. The third time I also returned with an Origin Trank and the Caustic Griffin, only to get struck by lightning and die instantly. And the fourth time that I returned, he had enough and seemingly despawned. He probably died again, but I do not care. It was day 40 now, because yes, I did waste an entire day with that guy. So I continued taming Celestials. For the next Guardian, the Chaos Guardian, I needed more things, again. Bam bam bam, okay. Amongst the many creatures that I killed, I wanted to see what the Phoenix duo would drop. Well, Mongo, the Celestial one, died instantly, dropped nothing, but Mongo, the Demonic one, did almost obliterate my Wyvern. Yeah, that was close. After killing a bunch of dinos, I had pretty much everything needed, but I did want to try something before that, which was to evolve and kill a loot boss. I had a super good combo with a lot of arrows, so I had pretty much nothing to lose. So the way it works is you shoot the guy, get him to low HP, like 10%, something like that, then he's gonna go mad, regen HP, hit harder, and after 30 seconds he will evolve into the next tier. Then you just rinse and repeat until he hits Ascendant. After Ascendant, he will turn into God Life, when he will be super strong but also give super good saddles. Some really good stuff. Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he did. We got so much, dude. Oh my god, yeah, okay, we gotta check this at home. Ooh, I'll keep this. Throughout all of the shit that I got, I found a Chaos Spino saddle, a Chaos and Spirit Wyvern saddle, and a Fable Griffithorn saddle. 700% hell yeah, I want this. After sorting the stuff, I grinded the rest and bada bim bada boom. Nice. Nice. The saddles that I saved will also come in handy later, but not in the way that you'd actually expect. Day 42 started with me evolving another loot boss for more stuff, hoping to get either a Celestial Wyvern armor, Spirit Boss armor, Spirit Griffin armor, or just anything remotely useful. Yo, he won't die, right? I hope he doesn't die, dude. Please don't die, man. Please. No, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. Oh my. No, he's not dead! After these two bosses, I checked the dino tracker and boy, we had a strong Spirit Griffin spawned. So I went over to him, shot him with the Origin Trank and waited for him to fall unconscious. The beautiful part of Spirit Dinos is that no matter their level, you only needed one Spirit Orb, which was a really nice touch. So, what can he do? First of all, he can buff himself with Spirit, which increases his HP regen, stamina regen, damage reduction, and damage. Off to a wonderful start. He also has permanent rider protection, which is super good, and in terms of speed, he's not too fast but not too slow either. But in terms of damage, he's a beast. That is if I actually knew how to shoot with him. I wasn't too good at aiming with him. I mean, granted, it is my first time using him, but despite all of that, the damage output was unlike any creature that I've tamed so far. Oh, that guy had like a million something health. That is more damage than the Wyvern. I wanted him a Spirit Boss, so I need to start working on the actual bosses. Boss line thing, so we're gonna do that. Hello, what's going on here? Boom. That's fantastic, dude. The only downside regarding this guy was the lack of cocoon, like the Griffin and Wyvern had, which does make killing things a bit harder than before, but thanks to the raw damage, that was not a big issue, trust me. Oh yeah, if they all land, the damage is unreal. While looking for the spawn Rexes, I saw level 1 40 Spirit Rex spawn, so I thought, what if I tame him? So I tamed him. At the dawn of day 44, I was ready to test him out. Surprisingly, or I mean unsurprisingly, he had more damage than both the Karcher and the Indominus. Glad I tamed those. Besides the bite, he had a Spirit Breath attack, pretty generic, but his strong attack was a sun that exploded into more Spirit Suns that explode in a large area. Again, pretty strong, but weak for single target, which is literally the only thing that you need for late game. Whatever, man. I also made sure to test him out on an Origin and he wasn't too bad, but you know, if all balls could somehow hit, he'd be by far the strongest dino I have, but in his current stage, nah. Anyways, before moving on to the Chaos Garden, I wanted to get started with getting some boss eggs, because boss progression goes as follows. Default boss, Alpha boss, Apex boss, and lastly Spirit or Chaos boss, whichever one you prefer. Also for each next tier, you need 5 previous eggs, so for an Alpha boss kibble, I'll need 5 boss eggs. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. In order to tame things faster in the future, and also save my tranks, I invested in the Manticore, as it could deal a decent bit of torpor and it was also free. Hi, hello, hi. After finishing taming a few bosses, egg production was booming, so I let them marinate for a while and in the meantime went to get the Chaos Guardian down as well. Okay, can I now make the boss summon for this guy? You gotta be... Okay, Chaos Guardian Craft, bam, thank you, holy shit, that took forever. To fight him, I applied literally the same tactic as before: spawn, run in the cave, deploy Fruiting Dragon and get to work. Well, now I can fight Pikkon. Except that we need a bunch of stuff. In order to defeat Pikkon, I had to do a bunch of farming. However, Pikkon and Nova, the two tier 5 bosses, are super duper hard, so even if I could just get everything right now, that wouldn't have been a very smart choice. But while thinking of my next move, I went around the map killing all spawned Celestial Indominuses and Reaper Empresses for their respective souls. Also, yeah, they can spawn randomly on the map, but up to this point I wasn't really that strong. While fighting this Indominus, I actually pressed F11, which stopped my recording. Nice one. But basically, I just did what I said earlier and also made up my mind. My plan was to get the Spirit Manticore, as it could definitely dish out more damage than anything I had and enough HP to take down the tier 5 bosses. To get Spirit Heal, however, I had to work my way up through the weaker tiers. On the way to an Alpha Dragon, I stumbled across a level 180 Chaos Wyvern. I also had a strong saddle for him, so everything was perfect. So I knocked it out and went home to make the Chaos Orb. Dude, I can't take these explosions anymore, dude. Ah, finally, peace and quiet. Okay. After loading back in, the Wyvern was still there, still waiting for me. Unfortunately, after going closer to him, he decided to despawn. Yep. Back to the Alpha Dragon, I suppose. While looking for the boss catalog, I stumbled across a low-level male Dodorex. Yeah, I won't take the gamble and just tame him, as I did see my Mantis lay eggs earlier in the journey, but I wasn't too sure. But despite everything, I just took the gamble and tamed it. And I don't remember what I did for the rest of the day, but I spent day 49 killing a bunch of origins for blood and stuff. After a lengthy grinding session, I only got one alpha boss egg, out of the 5 that I need. But since I got tired of farming dinos, I wanted to spice it up a little bit and got upgrading my base to tech and also invest in a bunch of dedicated storages. On the morning of day 50, halfway through the challenge, I also managed to finally cover up that hole from like 40 days ago. After some thinking, I also settled to replacing my floor with dedicated storages, just cause it'll look cooler and take up less space. My big brain also found a way to make Primal Fear items compatible with the dedicated storage. I'm just kidding, I just googled the solution. To complete my collection, I built an intake that does exactly what you would expect it to do. Day 51 started with me looking at my beautiful new floor as well as getting blessed with this. Spirit Griffin 150, boy! Hehehe. You already know the deal: craft, miss, hit, and trank. 32 melee, I think that's better than what I have. That's definitely better than what I have. Let's see here. 35-47, that's double the melee, dude. Welp, the new Griffin was insane. Not only did it have twice the base melee, which is almost like double damage in ARK terms, it also had way more HP, and this time I wasn't going to waste points to movement speed and stamina. With the old Griffin I was doing about 335k, with the new one I was doing 560k, an increase of 60%, just like that. Oh my... It became clear that nothing could stand in my path with this new Griffin. And you might think, okay, well now you're ready for Pikkon, right? No, as that guy is beyond strength. Same for Nova. Hello. Ooh. Primal Reaper. Primal Dodo Reaper even. Well, it's gone now. So I still need the Spirit Boss, and after waiting for the rest of the day, I finally got a 5 Alpha Eggs, which I immediately tried turning into Apex Boss Kibble. Before moving on and doing something with the kibble, I invested in a lot more primal preserving beans, as for one kibble, I needed upwards of 100 jerky, so I was burning from my stock and I was doing so fast. Day 52 started with me making that Apex kibble and giving it to an Apex Dodo Wyvern. What? How the fuck did my stupid ass Manticore kill me? After arriving back, the Manticore finished the job and put the Dodo Wyvern to sleep, so I seized the opportunity and returned home to deposit my guy so he could start laying eggs. While waiting for both more Apex eggs as well as more Apex bosses, I wanted to see what the waters of Primal Fear had to offer. Since I was super rich, I could pretty much skip progression by crafting a Primal Tech Dinosaur. So I used my Spirit Rex to kill such a squid, grabbed this blueprint and returned home to use the Primal Tech Workbench to craft all the components for the mechanical squid. Before crafting it, I made sure to pop a crafting skill potion to hopefully make it stronger than expected. And then also invested in some modules. These are items that are added into the dino's inventory and they give it certain buffs such as 4 times the health, 2 times the speed, 3 times the weight, 4 times the damage, amongst many others. Then I went into the local ocean to spawn it and finally got to use it. It was so bad that I have no words. It was super bugged, so even with the movement speed multiplier, he was still super slow. Day 54 was spent investing in teleporters that I strategically placed in every corner of the map for faster travel, as despite Primal Fear dinos being fast, it gets to the point, you know. And after that whole adventure, I got one single Apex Boss egg. We got one Apex Boss egg, only 4 more. And we can make the Spirit Boss Kibble. Well, I made sure to focus on things that I could control, which was to tame more alpha bosses, as well as exterminate any boss that was an alpha to free up spawn locations. After exterminating literally all and every boss, I spent the rest of the day living like a king and expanding my dedicated storage floor. And thanks to me expanding my storage, I also got to organize some stuff in the smithy, which means the saddles that I got earlier as well. Upon throwing those into the grinder, I was blessed with this. Oh, you get souls if you do with the saddles. Oh, then we should definitely kill more bosses. Before tackling more loot bosses, I noticed an Apex Broodmother appear, so I made my way over there to welcome it to the team. It had 9 million torpor, which was a very lot, which is why I want to stop being a stingy bastard and just use one of my infinite origin tranks to get it knocked. However, get this, if you inflicted torpor on a dinosaur before using the origin trank arrow, it bugs out and doesn't work as intended. Which means that I had to deal the rest of the 7 million torpor by hand. Only one egg, man, I'm gonna be here forever. Oh, well, now we wait again, I guess. There's nothing much to be done and said. In the meantime, I explored the Primal Food Cooker, which can make unique foods that will help with the 4 colossi later, such as dino treats that literally provide immunity to each of the colossus' strengths, and there was also a cupcake for me. Ayo, pause. That prevents torpidity knockout, which is, again, super good for the costly colossus. We can soon tame another Apex, so that's good. After crying for eggs, I set out to kill the Reaper Empress, and this one was kinda tough since it was far away underwater, and aiming the Griffin is harder than an 8 AM lecture. But I eventually killed it and went over to loot it, just to see it fall for the map. Yeah, fun. And this also applied to a super low level female Apex Broodmother that was also stuck in the wall, or so I thought. But to confirm my theory, I killed the Primal Tech Mosasaur, got its blueprint, crafted it, deployed it, and went out to see that it was unreachable. Nice, thank you game. Since I came all the way here, I made sure to despawn it in the best way that I knew. Well, thank you Mosasaur, back to the storage you go. On the bright side, thanks to all my shitty adventure, I was finally able to make one Spirit Boss Kibble. Now all I gotta do is wait for an actual boss to spawn. For the rest of the day, I just called for engrams, and on day 60, I was greeted by this message. Spirit Dragon level 170. To my absolute dismay, the dragon needed 2 Spirit Boss Kibbles. Which if you think about it is actually insane, as all Spirit Dinos, despite level, only need 1 Spirit Orb to tame, but his strength did seem worth the 2 kibble. While waiting for 2 more eggs to appear, I continue clearing out spawns in the way that I knew best. As night fell, I had a weird idea to trank the dragon in hopes that it would stay unconscious and not respawn until I got my kibble. Which, as I found out earlier, is not the brightest idea. But I did it either way, and thinking nothing of it, I went home to see that I needed just one more apex egg. One more. And then also saw the dragon just wake up. What? At first I thought he despawned, but that wasn't the case. Thankfully that wasn't the case. He woke up, okay. Thought he died. Phew, that scared me. Dude, just make one more egg. On the night of day 63, I looked up for the dragon again, and this time he did actually despawn. He's gone. He's fucking gone. To get my mind off of that experience, I wanted to make a few tech crop plots for which I needed sand, so I went over to farm some sand, but then I quit ARK for the day, and when I came back, I definitely didn't forget where I found the sand, because that would be weird and stupid. Yeah, I forgot, and I went to kill some loot bosses instead. On the morning of day 64, I had enough apex eggs for another kibble. Before making any kibble though, I let the eggs be just in case I end up needing them for chaos boss kibble. And while waiting for a boss to spawn, I made more boss kibble to tame lower tier bosses. Day 65 was spent clearing a batch of spawns, mainly the spirit ones, and after killing almost all spirits, I moved on to evolving bosses. Ooh, Spirit Griffin armor 1000. Ooh, nice. Halfway through day 66, after killing a few bosses, the game considered that I struggled enough and blessed me with this beast. No way! Making sure to not waste a second, I teleported home, made a spirit boss kibble, and arrived where the beast resided. The first thing I did was shoot it with an origin trank, and in response, it almost one-shotted me. Thank fuck for the saddle. Thank God for the saddle. That's all I'm gonna say. Come on. Dawn of day 67. 6-7, and we get the Manticore. 6-7. Almost in a poetic way, on the dawn of day 67, the Manticore fell and I was able to tame it. What does this Manticore do, you may ask? It turns things into atoms. Hello, Primal. That was unleveled, by the way. Boo. Okay, he's supposed to have another attack on X. Let me see. Yeah, just launches fast needles things. And they can be shot out faster than the thing. He's so strong, man! Oh my god! Dude, he's so strong, I can't believe this shit. He has 13 million health base. Oh my god. Actually, let's go 30 million just in case, and let's go full melee then. 6.7 million. Oh my god, this is so fun, dude. We have so much damage now. I cannot believe this. I can't believe it, dude. Boom. Hello. Boom. That's so good. C and right will do the same thing, I think. Wait, you can literally spam the attack. Nah. Nah. You can literally spam the attack. Nah. After giving my manticore a very fitting name, I crafted a spawner for the last origin that I needed. Spawn and goodbye. Yep, he already died. The thing on the left didn't even update and he died. I also didn't get any loot because I killed it too fast. So I had to spawn another one. But whatever, it's time for Pikkon. Ooh, Pikkon the creator. Summon. Ooh. For Pikkon, I was going to use my Manticore in combination with the Empress and Emperor to act as tanks. This boss was going to be super strong, but I have faith I'll easily take him down. Defeating Pikkon rewards you with a Pikkonic that you patch, obviously, a saddle, a full set of creator tech armor that consumes like 0 element, works like a normal tech, and is indestructible. And a Celestial Ascension token. And what it does is it basically allows you to make your Celestial stronger. Anyways, next boss, Nova the Destroyer. Before tackling it, I went to see what Pikkon was capable of. So I hatched it and looked at him until he finished imprinting, which took like the whole day. But after done with that, I took him out and I gotta say he is super underwhelming. I won't even go for his attacks, just know that he's super bad in department damage. In department health, he is good because he can be used to tank. While making a bunch of kibble for orbs, I ran out of long grass, which is when I remembered why I farmed sand all those days ago. To make tech crop plots, of course. Since replacing the greenhouse wouldn't have been that big of a difference, I settled to making it 3 times the size and full tech as well. Already 20! Okay, I severely underestimated these guys, that's for sure, dude. With the greenhouse finished, I was ready for Nova. Nova the Destroyer summon a Blam. My advantage this time was that I had Pikkon on the ground to tank while I could just explode it from the sky with my Manticore. And then like a minute later, Nova died, and for my troubles I got pretty much nothing except its egg, soul and demonic ascension item. Nice, now we can move on to these guys. Oh boy, which one do I go for first? Before anything, I wanted to test out Nova. I've only heard good things about this dino, so I was kinda hopeful and worried that it would replace my Manticore. While it was growing, I used a mind wipe to get more engram points as well as put my points into valid stats. Also, yeah, I did just run out of engrams, you heard that correctly, because I learned all the stupid engrams that I would never actually use. But the reason as to why I wanted engrams was so that I could make scissors to shave my hair for a nanny. In order to prepare for the Caustic Colossus, I made that cupcake from earlier and the Caustic Dino treat. And the last thing was to take Nova out for a spin. It was super strong. It had some pretty insane attacks, but targeting them was very hard. All in all, a pretty strong dino, especially if the balls can hit the target. This is also when I decided to make a training dummy. You might want to hold on to something. 57 million DPS per second, excluding all those bombs. And that's 90 million DPS. Plus it can be spammed, ladies and gentlemen, it can be spammed. Yes, you are reading that correctly, that is 100 million DPS. I highly doubt I need any other Dino 10 Manticore to finish this challenge, which is exactly why I wasted no more time and hopped on to killing the Colossus. Still, don't get me wrong, it was my first Colossus ever, so I was somewhat worried, which is why I bought both Pikkon and Nova for protection, as well as the food from earlier. Yeah, okay, that was easy. Defeating the Colossus gives things that I don't care about, as well as their medallion, of which I need 3 more to tackle Pikkon's revenge. Next boss was gonna be the Fire Colossus, but to get to that guy I had to kill Nova again, and Pikkon again, and to get those guys I had to beat the Empress and Emperor twice, and to get them I had to be like 3-4 Origins, so yeah, we got some work to do. After beating a bunch of Origins, I noticed I was lacking a shit ton of artifacts, so I went to summon an artifact to the Ascended and just killing him for a bunch of artifacts. He had 100 million HP, which was intimidating. And after finishing up with a few Origins, I had everything needed for Pikkon again. This time I went alone and spammed X, and it's definitely safe to say that Pikkon's revenge is definitely going to get obliterated. Anyways, Fire Colossus time. My PC is exploding. My PC is exploding, dude. My PC is exploding. Stop. My PC is exploding. But he's dead. PC exploded, but he's dead. GG. This Manticore was so strong, dude. Ice Colossus next. Amongst all the farming, I also make sure to check the spirits often, as well as my egg production, and after getting 10 eggs, I made 2 more spirit boss kibble and went to tame a level 150 spirit dragon. Well then, what can this guy do? For starters, is distantly fast, has a good bite attack, has a generic breath attack that you've seen tens of times before, but its unique attack was an orb explosion thing. It was nowhere near the Manticore strength, that's for sure, but it would have been a bad dino to have regardless. Anyways, back to farming a boy. Day 75 started with me grabbing a stray artifact and killing the last required Origins. Afterwards, I also wanted to evolve the Wyvern with the Celestial Evolution thing to see what he could do. So, before evolving he had about 370k damage, which was super good for a Celestial, as we already know, and after evolving him, all his levels got evenly spread out, got improved scaling, and after leveling him up again, he dealt 1 million per hit. which was like 3 times the damage. Not bad, but Manticore is stronger. Then I just waited. I can't remember exactly for what, but after not being AFK anymore, I made a Reaper Empress spawner, spawned her, beat her, same for all the origins again. Then I crafted Pikkon, killed Pikkon, made the Ice Colossus spawner, and just like the 2 Colossi before him, he fell without any issues. Primal Fear endgame, by the way. He's dead. GG's. We got the medallion. One boss left. Okay, boss tier 5. We need 1 more Nova. Okay, no, I'm just gonna kill all origins. Day 77 started with the destruction of many origins. Then obliterated the local emperor as well. For my troubles I got a shield that reduced incoming damage by 20%, which could be useful, but it obstructs my screen, so I don't know how much I'll actually keep it. Then I was doing my normal stuff, evolving loot bosses, until this guy spawned a literal skeletonized Tyrannosaur out of nowhere, and it did give me the scare of my life as I thought I was going to lose the Manticore, but thankfully that wasn't the case, so I just ended him right then and there, and for my troubles I got even more loot. As night fell, I continued evolving more bosses for Chaos and Spirit Saddles to grind into souls. And then on the morning of day 78, got to killing another Nova. Now to save us both time, you already know what I had to do for Pikkon, so just bam, I did it all, spawned in Pikkon, eliminated him, and had everything ready for the last Colossus. And now I make the Electric Colossus, beam, bam. This equals exploded, boss equals a dead. GG's. I was officially in the endgame now, and the first thing that I did was shave my hair to make a nanny. With the nanny acquired, I hatched all my Novas and Pikkons in preparations for the grand finale. While they grew peacefully, I had to go out and get the required items for 1 last Nova and Pikkon. 1 more of these, we need everything. So just pretend I got everything, because there's actually no reason for me to show everything again. You've seen this countless times before. Day 80 was spent leveling up Pikkons, everyone got 80 million health and the rest went full melee. Novas got about 8 million health and the rest went full melee. On day 81 I killed the last Nova required for Pikkon's revenge, as well as tamed the fabled Ferezino to farm blood. Because I ran out. Day 82 was spent organizing some stuff around the base and beating the last Pikkon needed for Pikkon's revenge. Day 83 and 84 were spent cracking open some loot bosses in hopes of getting a saddle for the Manticore, but that unfortunately didn't happen. And then the end of day 84 was spent leveling up the last 2 bosses. And now for the moment you've been waiting for. Almost 40 hours ago I began this adventure, lonely, afraid, on a beach, with no idea if I was even going to make it here, let alone in 100 days. But here I am, 84 days later, ready to take down the last boss of Primal Fear, Pikkon's revenge. Alright, so quick little parenthesis here, this will ruin the flow of the story, I am aware, but I had a bunch of excess Empresses and Emperor Summons that I wanted to use and tame, as they could come in handy for Pikkon. So I got to using all my origin tranks and resources to tank them up. And so, on the dawn of day 85, I began laying down the whole army. Win or lose, this was it. Oh boy. Okay. Oh man, let's do this. Come on, dude. Come on. GG. GG's. I'm not even gonna attack. GG, bro. GG. GG's. Alright, well, he did beat pretty much all my dinos, which was to be expected, as he can clone your dinos 1-to-1, which, you know, kinda sucks, but hey, that's it, Primal Fear defeated. There was Nova's revenge left to fight, but I am not doing all that grinding again, I'm sorry, even though I still have days left, nah, I'm good. Besides Nova, there were also a few other bosses, such as the Empowered Empress and Emperor, and Skynet. So, since the challenge is done and I did beat Pikkon's revenge, I consider that I should allow myself to go on creative to spawn these bosses. The Empowered Empresses rewarded me with a bundle of souls, as well as a demonic ascension item that can be used on the demonic Empress, something that the normal ascension item cannot, and the Emperor did the same thing but for Celestials. Skynet was an abomination that had a lot of health and could spawn primal tech creatures, not big of a deal but surely an interesting boss. Defeating him also rewarded me with an ascension item for primal tech creatures, which is kinda interesting. And last but not least, Nova's revenge. I have heard stories that this boss is super strong, but for me, it didn't seem as such. But that was until phase 2, because this boss does seem to be inspired by the War of Gods from Terraria heavily, as during phase 2 he was super strong and I couldn't kill him with just a Manticore, so I unfortunately died, and so did my Manticore. So I respawned, killed him with commands, got his special item, which is like a super strong infinite bullet minigun, not too bad. And then the last thing that I did was grab a fishing rod that I acquired sometime earlier in the adventure alongside some Lich Blood and went to the beach where I built my first base, where I just fished until day 100. I could rest somewhat easily knowing that I have beaten Pikkon, and although it is a shame that Nova got to live, I'd say I did a pretty damn good job for a solo player.